Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 292. Today is Saturday, October 12th, 2019, and I'm glad you could join me today. I looked right before I started, but then I forgot. So, it's okay. So, there may have been time to record last week, but I think it was probably slightly easier not doing it. So, at least for the time being, or what would it be? What would it be? I'm not too sure how much longer the every other week thing will be going for, but, I don't think it'll be for too much longer, so we're gonna be okay. What would it be? So, not too crazy. I do have some stuff to show you, which is cool. Had I had better prioritization skills, whoa, can you tell I haven't talked much today? If I was better at prioritizing, maybe I would have been done with something, but as such, it won't be too terrible. I got a little buzz from my phone, and so I was trying to figure out what was going on, but instead it just was confusing. So, I guess this is what I ended up picking up, and I'm actually in the process of rectifying something at the moment, so maybe I will finish doing that, but I'm all discombobulated today. So let's start at the beginning. Sometime since I think the last time I recorded, possibly, I don't know, I figured out that I had tendinitis in my left elbow, and I'm not sure whether or not it is the knitting type of tendinitis or if it was something else. So I don't end up talking a lot about this on the podcast, but I have been doing Ashtanga, which is a type of yoga where there are 54 vinyasas in it, or for the half-led primary form, which boils down to you are in a plank, you do a tricep push-up, you do the upward facing dog, and then you do the downward facing dog. 54 of those. And I think I managed to injure myself doing that. Which, because I went to yoga, whatever, this must have been it was 3 weeks ago, something like that. So it'd be the case where shortly after returning from my trip to San Francisco, what was it? I think this must have been, whatever. So what ended up happening was I went to yoga, and I did the chaturanga, which is the tricep push-up part of that vinyasa flow, and it hurt. So I was like, oh crap. I had noticed the previous week that it was sore, but that was the source of sadness. Or I'm assuming it's the source of sadness. The only thing that I did sort of the day before was there was a decent amount of knitting on my linen sweater, so I don't know if that didn't help either. Who knows? So I spent a week icing it, and that didn't seem to get me back to where I could go back to yoga again. So I actually went in for physical therapy this week. So I have been poked and prodded, and it has been determined that I am too bendy flexy and that I need to strengthen this back part of my forearm in order to prevent the injury from happening again. So it's probably going to be a while that I'm working on that. It's possible that I'll actually need to Or would it be? I'll have to figure stuff out because all sorts of shenanigans are happening. But what this meant was there wasn't maybe as much knitting, and I figured out that knitting on this sock has been a lot better for it as well. So there's been some spinning, there's been some knitting, but the sock has definitely been what it is. So you guys haven't seen this. I cast this on last week, and I'm already to the heel flap, but I noticed when I was waiting for coffee that I had screwed up the little pattern, so I actually had to tink back a little bit to get that slip right, and now it's right. So I am working an Eye of Partridge heel on this bad boy, and the pattern that I am knitting is Jack. Now, we might not be able today to get light and pattern at the same time. But what it boils down to is I did okay, that just felt like one. I did this ribbing pattern for a decent amount, and then I launched into the Jack pattern, which is a broken rib sort of dealio. So was this pooling sequence the right choice for that pattern? Maybe not. Is it making it more interesting than that? Absolutely. Did I make a mistake? Yes. Am I fixing it? No, because I just did an extra knit row. So it has a pretty good ratio of rows that are mostly knitting to it. And then I was trying to see if Past Molly was kind. No. So I was like trying to find the source that I used in the past in order to figure out what links I did on my past socks, and I didn't write it down on Ravelry. So these are socks from my grandpa. He has a size 12 foot, and I am making these. I think I decided to, I don't even know, I'll have to measure. It may be that I just arbitrarily decided that I was going to start the heel flap hell or high water. I don't know. So this is out of Volmeisa Twin in the Drachenfell, or I think that's right, Drachenblood. I don't know. It is, well, I believe it's Dragonblood or something like that. So it is pooling like a mad fool, depending on my attention. And what's going to end up happening is the pool, or it's going to reverse once I start working on the gussets. So there's going to be some pretty wild pooling going on this sock. My initial pad, I cast on, ripped out several times before I settled on this particular thing. Jack isn't written to work for the size sock that I'm working. I'm doing 77 stitches, which means that I have 7 11 stitch repeats in it, which means I'm working an odd number on the flap, but whatever. I was happy with how things ended up getting split up. So I think yeah. It made sense to me at the time. Maybe it doesn't make sense to me now. It's possible that I actually wanted to start doing the heel flap on this side because that was centered up the way I wanted it to be. Yeah, probably. Whatever. There's still some, or it's not like I'm that far in at this point, so I might just switch that. I don't know why it stopped making sense for me there, but because you would think everything would end up being reasonably even. Oh. Yeah, no, I guess that isn't really... Yeah, no, that isn't centered. I should center that. I don't know what I was thinking before. It's not centered, but whatever, such is life. So, I'll have to fix that. Now is not the time. But it was the case where it shouldn't be too bad. I think I have maybe 2 rows of heel flap in. So I'm using my signature double points for the heel flap and the toes as well when the time comes. And it's been my carrying around knitting. But I did end up meeting with my friend on a different day of the week because she was at yarn school, and we're not gonna have like intersecting weekends for quite some time. So, oh, that fell off. Oh my gosh. Things are a little bit of a hot mess here right now. Let's see how well I can recover. So, I am very, very close to being done with this sweater, and I was pleasantly surprised with how easy it was to work, but maybe disappointed because this does not feel good with the tendonitis right now. I think it's sort of the case where I need something to carry the weight for my arm. But I am almost done with my vitamin D. So I managed to finish the bottom garter stitch sometime during my trip. I think I was working on this on the plane, flying from Dallas to San Francisco. And then I had to figure out the pickup rate, which involved some careful gauge ruler action, for which I decided that my pickup rate needed to be pick one, skip one. Because for some reason, even though I'm knitting this garter edging on US 2 or whatever, yeah, they're US 2.5 3mm needles. The gauge is bigger than my stockinette. I don't know, life's mysterious sometimes. So, and the other cool thing is actually, because of the short rows, this collar edge is actually shorter than the bind off was, so we're doing just fine. And honestly, once I finish this row, then I'm to the bind off on this. So if I had prioritized better, I would be done with this sweater and wearing it, and I would just be showing you other stuff. But I wasn't smart about that, so this is gonna have to wait until the next time. So, let's see. So this is Vitamin D. It's a Heidi Kermeyer pattern that I'm knitting out of Claudia Hand Paint's Contemplation Lace in the Lone Star colorway. And this colorway reminds me a lot of the blue bonnets that you see at DFW Fiber Fest. I bought this yarn 2 Fiber Fests ago. I think this was the one where I was feeling all of the feels about, actually both of these yarns I got Or what was it? I really wanted to buy a drum carder and I couldn't. So I just bought sweater quantities instead, like a crazy person. So, what would it be? At some point soon that will be fixed, so that'll be good. So, well, let's just check. Yeah, no, when I'm done with this row, I'm going to be binding off. So, had I been thinking I would have finished this row and bound off and then woven in the ends, but I didn't. Whoopsies. So, it will not be done for this week's episode, but it is awfully close. So, I'll probably be wearing this next week. Or next time. I'm not going to record next week. I'm going to be in San Francisco, so sorry. And, well, I could, like, knit in my husband's studio. It's probably easier not to. But they're, like, it wouldn't be preferred. So, let's see. So, with the picking up, I think I was able to maybe highlight a little bit better the yarn overs on the edge of the sweater. So, I think you can see that line a lot better now, because before you couldn't see them because it was curling so much. And this is more rows of edging than the pattern called for, because I just went until it felt good on the sleeves, and then I am repeating it elsewhere. It was my goal to use as much of the yarn as humanly possible. I don't know where the ball is. And in that regard, I've done a pretty good job. So this is all that remains. I ran out of the second ball, I think sometime during, the bottom edging. So in that regard, I think I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. So, and then, what was it? Heidi was super clever about how she was doing the edging so that you didn't have extra ends to weave in. And because of the number that I had selected, I couldn't do it. So, oh well. Such is life. I know, I always think it's odd after, or whatever, it's always interesting to pick the right time to bind off in garter. So, and what would it be like? This is like a garter edge sweater as well, so, that's just interesting. The only struggle that I had was, I was trying to do a regular flip the loop over sort of bind off on the bottom edge, and I would think I was binding off on the plain, and I was like digging. So it would be the case where at first I had the tubes and I was trying to do it with that, and that was just turning out super tight, so it was going to be really weird looking because it was just so different. And then I grabbed my knit stitch fixer thing. Whatever, it's like a knitting needle on one side and a crochet hook on the other. And I tried doing the flip the loop over bind off on that. That was also still too loose, or sorry, too tight. So it was changing how the fabric was draping. And I didn't have my interchangeable set with me. Just all sorts of crazy things at hand. So I couldn't try finding like a bigger needle to go from, so I ended up doing the knit two together bind off, and that was the right stretchiness. So it's not like wobbly, it doesn't look that crazy. And I'll do the same thing on this edge as well because I want it to be the right amount of loose. I don't know, I might have been that I did the knit two together bind off with the fix a stitch thing. I think that's what it's called, fix a stitch. Sounds familiar. So we shall see. But I'm pretty happy that with my yarn usage, last time I weighed it was like 15 grams, so I'm probably less now. I'm pretty sure that means that I wouldn't have been able to do like another pair of lace increases on this and still gone away with it. I don't know. Like, lots of yarn was being used, but with like all the edgings and stuff, I think I picked a decent time to call it quits. So it's gonna be bigger than the sample, or longer than the sample that I ended up trying on. And it is super duper flowy. Like, so I can like pin it to, so I could like pin it closed and have it be long overlapping fronts, but it doesn't strictly speaking need to be. So you can get a sense for, this is quite a lot. But this is how I know that this edge is way shorter, because I could have pulled off the needles and now this is doing just fine. So it's quite a lot of sweater. I don't know if I had like extra increases in here, because it's definitely pretty flowy in the back. You can even sort of see as I'm holding it up. So I'm not sure about that, but whatever. I am just a bind off away, but I'll have to figure out what I'm doing with that. So hopefully I'll be wearing that on the next episode. It finally got cool enough to wear sweaters quite suddenly. Which I'm not complaining about. It was sort of the case where I was surprised when like have the announcement on the plane about what the temperature is in Dallas, and you're like, 78. And then yesterday was even colder, and today was super pleasant as well. So we're like mid-60s, which is gorgeous. This is why I like October. So you finally have those rainstorms, and it finally breaks the heat, so it's not 90 anymore. So like, this is like proper fall. It isn't even Michigan summer. So maybe in that regard it's a little sad, but I'm wearing sweaters out in the world, so I'm not complaining too much. And I'm a little disappointed with what sweaters I decided to bring with me. Not sure how I feel about that. So, whatever. But it probably does make my sweater mojo higher for other things. So it would be the case where what will be getting some more love soon. And I actually, interesting. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. So this is okay. All right. I did the body of the sweater on my 3mm needles, and what I'm working on right now is ones. Or I think actually no, it's 1.5. So it'd be the case where I'm working with the 2.5mm needles on that guy now, which is why I have it on an interchangeable cable, because my fixed 3mm needle is in a different project right now. Whatever. So this is my other project. It hasn't gotten any love, but it will be getting some love as soon as I finish the sweater. But this is my V-neck boxy, so I have my little ears for the collar. Oh wait, I'm wearing my V-neck boxy right now. So this one, I believe, is a fairly similar size to this guy. We arrange neatly. Whatever. If it's a little bit less wide, I don't think that's gonna be super duper tragic. Part of it's just, the crucial thing is the sleeve fit here. So I will lay this out flat and figure out what that is so that I can replicate that, because I'm happy with that sleeve fit. Yeah, I don't know, there's plenty of sweater here, and this is just the back. So at some point I will have worked enough of these ridgy things, and then I can proceed to knit to the armhole depth, and then I think I end up picking up and working down from there. I think that's how the pattern goes. So not too crazy. And then I think there's some short rows in here to account for the slope of the shoulders. And this sweater ends up highlighting it more because I have stripes. I wasn't planning on putting stripes in for this one unless who knows. Or if I do something, it'll be a case where I will have silver for all of the finishing going on, but it's still going to be a little bit before it's time for finishing. But this has gotten very little love because I was focusing on sweaters. This was an impulsive cast on in September for the Hohi Fall Cow. Will I finish in time for the cow? Probably not. Whatever, it's been an entertaining group to participate in. Would it be cool to see? Would it be some unfamiliar faces, a variety of languages, all of that stuff. So what would it be? The people in that group are not the people I'm normally hanging out with on Ravelry, so not too crazy. Now we'll be getting some more love soon. And then I am glad that I left my V-neck boxy out for further wearing. So this is my not wool boxy. It is knit out of Plymouth Yarn's Nettle Grove, which is a cotton, linen, silk, and nettle blend in Sandcastle and Purple Parrot. Purple Parrot's really blue. And I just really love this sweater. So, and I just like the fact that the stripes end up sort of highlighting all of its drape and all of that good stuff. So I decided to make another one. The other sweater that I have out is, and that I wanted to wear this week, was my Breathing Space, which is a very Valanaki pattern instead of a Hohi Locatelli pattern, but they do collaborate a lot together. But I went to put it on and I noticed that I had stitches that were not picked up. So I have like a pair of stitches here that are like loose. And then I also had some on the other side too, so up close and personal. So I'm just gonna catch these with a bulb stitch marker, and I need to work them back in. I'm not entirely sure what went weird. Or what side. What side? There were some on both sides, so that was slightly troubling. Yeah. I really don't know. So there's one there. There were two there. So this is like right before the sleeve starts. So I don't know if this is the case where I just picked up weird and then they just immediately dropped. But like I definitely have like 3 loose stitches on this. So I'm going to pull out the yarn later today and secure them down. Yeah, no, it's like really weird. So I'm glad that I caught this before I wore this for the day, because it probably would have run a lot more, but I really didn't want to wear it. So whatever, I guess I'll have to fix that now. Yeah, I'm really confused about what happened, but this is the problem with finishing sweaters in the summertime is, like, sometimes it takes a little while to get to them. So that is hand-spun Ness in the Superwash Merino Silk in mistletoe and a combo of Yuletide and Noel, I believe, or something like that. All of the Christmas colors, but maybe not looking explicitly Christmas until the whole road looks Christmassy. That's my hope. So I left my wild onion bat in San Francisco to spin. I was running sort of low on space and decided that it would just be easier to keep that project there for the time being. And then I'll make sure to not carry as much crap with me this time when I fly. I get one bag that has to fit in the seat in front of me, because whatever, cut rate economy basic tickets. My next plane trips are Southwest, so that shouldn't be a big deal. I have to find things in storage, I guess. So this has been getting all of the spinning love. So this is my first bobbin, which is complete. I don't remember whether or not it was complete when I talked to you guys last. I believe it's a Shetland. It was dyed in the lock in some sort of like crazy mismatch, and I used it as combing practice. So this is 4 ounces of singles on the bobbin. And then what I have in this bag over here is another 4 ounces to spin. And then what I didn't end up bringing over was to show how far I was on the second 4 ounces. So this is the third 4 ounces that I'm going to be working on. I probably need to get a hustle on it because it is a part of my bin, and then I have all of the spinning for my Ginny the Fleece. No, I have not separated everything out. Such is life. And I do have something to share this week, which was exciting. So I did get a message from Teresa. So I participated in the Scarlett Bennett raffle at SSK, and I ended up winning a project bag. So I asked Teresa to make me a blue drawstring bag, and this is what she ended up sending. So this is like super, super deep. It has like a folding bottom. I'm really loving the all of like the navy blue and the birds, so that's really cool. I may need to go through and singe the ends on this bad boy because they're getting a little loose there. But bizarrely, my car went in the shop and there was a lighter, so I have the power. Or everything will catch fire, who knows. But yeah, no, so I was really excited to get that, and then she put a little tag on it that says that it is FSK 2019, so I need to send her a message and thank her for that. I also got a pair of shoes, but they were too big. It was a good mail day. And now the coffee's all gone. I've had way too much coffee today. But I didn't want to record without coffee. I'll be filled with regret later. So, I think that is everything. What was it? I guess right now I'm just feeling super duper silly that I didn't manage to center this pattern up. So Grandpa socks are finally started. I am almost done with the sweater. I can now focus on the other sweater that I impulsively cast on. And now that it is cold, I want all of the sweaters, as you do. And for what I have laying around to knit sweaters with, never. I think I want to make some heavier weight sweater. So I'll have to figure out what exists in the stash of exile and how to make that work. And making sure all of my sweaters are ready to go. Because it very quickly transitioned from like no way Jose sweaters to DK weight sweaters with no fingering weight sweater pause in the middle. So I'm just wearing my fingering weight sweaters and regretting regretting what I packed away. Oh well, such is life. So, what would it be? So I should be able to record not next week, but the week after. I'll be cruising the Instagram looking at all the great Rhinebeck pictures more than likely, so I'll be able to record on the 26th or 27th, barring like any shenanigans. And let's see. Yeah. Well, we'll figure out what's gonna end up working out. What would it be? It seems so strange, like, for how quickly time is passing, so whatever. It was like looking at the calendar really, interesting. But it's not terrible. What is it? Yeah, no, and I think I'm going to be spending the rest of today studying analog electrical engineering concepts and circuits that I missed out on learning about because I also got a mechanical engineering degree. I know a little bit about a lot of things, so it probably proves my value that I could like learn it quickly in the weekend, so we'll make it work. Yeah, no, so hopefully I can get all of my sweaters in tip-top shape and we can go from there. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care guys, bye-bye.